What's up, everyone? This is DeagleBeagle, and today we're going to go over Snorlax. So, this Pokemon would be pretty good in Regulation E. It's hard to say the tier, but probably at least A tier. It might even be better than that compared to some of the other new Pokemon. I'm trying to think of what tier they would be in. I don't know if any of the new Pokemon would be top tier, but if any of them would be, it would probably be Snorlax. Because compared to these other ones, like they do have Misty Terrain or whatever, but Snorlax just has been traditionally used a lot, and good typing, good moves, really good stats. It's kind of like Iron Hands in the sense that it has good stats, and that's probably the main reason why people use it. Now, as far as EVing it, we'll get to that later, and let's go over the moves first of all. You would probably want Double Edge. Not all the normal mons get Double Edge. Snorlax is just fortunate to get it because, like Slacking or whatever doesn't get it. People have used Yawn. I think last time Snorlax was used, it either used Yawn or before that, I remember using it in Seattle. I got top 10, and I was using like a curse set with like Gyarados for support and Marowak to support the Gyarados, and I suppose sort of the Snorlax. So, so I would just keep like curse spamming, and then yeah, it just went on a steamroll. And okay, this is probably going to be the standard set, probably with thick fat too, unless you're using like Iapapa Berry. I suppose you could use Gluttony with it, something like that. And you'd probably want to max out on defense because I did the math before this, and it's 37%, it's 37 point something more percent defense if you max it. Then like maxing HP would only increase defense by about 13.6% in a sense, and special defense by the same. So if you double that, that's less than just maxing out defense. So assuming you get hit with physical and special moves about the same, it would be best to use like it would be best to use um, to max out on the defense. And you probably shouldn't actually raise HP at all. You would probably want to focus on, well, it depends on what you want to do actually. You might not need all this attack if you're using like Yawn, but or like Belly Drum or something. If you're using like an offensive one or if you're using an offensive one, you probably wouldn't need HP. But if you're using a defensive one, you might want it. It is using Yawn, so I could see an argument for more HP. You can if you want. Me personally, I would use a lot of attack with it, even though, well, maybe not on this set because Heavy Slam doesn't need to be that powerful to one-shot Flutter Mane. I'd probably just give it like, what is this? The wrong calculator. So if you use, is Snorlax even in here? Oh yeah, it doesn't have it in here. Let's just say Iron Hands at the same attack level. 178. What am I doing? It's the same thing. So I wish this calculator would show the default set. You would probably want just enough so that if you're intimidated, you can one-shot Flutter Mane. This might actually not do it. At least at least one shot of Flutter Mane when you're not intimidated, or one shot it when you're, what am I thinking of? Intimidated if it's not max HP, not max HP. So you'd probably want like let me go down. You would probably want like at least 161 um, attack with it. Then the rest I suppose you could put in bulk. Now I need to actually calculate how efficient it is to do this. If you were to just max special defense, 162 divided by 130, 24.6. So that would be slightly less efficient than raising HP, especially considering how its defense is already lower than special defense. So yeah, I would actually EV it like this. And as far as the speed goes, you could min the speed and make it like Brave, and then you would speed tie with Amoonguss, or you could make it Adamant and give it a little speed and try to outspeed Amoonguss. That might make more sense to give it like, it just depends on what you want to do. I mean, I would probably do that personally. Give it like 12, whatever. I shouldn't be encouraging speed creeps, but like something like that, or just 4 even. Because a lot of people wouldn't even raise speed at all with the Moongus. And then, so something like that you could use, and it would do just fine. So another idea with it would be, would be thick fat and citrus or leftovers. And you would wall like Chi-Yu or some ice Pokemon like Chien-Pao, but I don't know if I would count Chien-Pao. I guess you would count it because it can't just Sacred Sword. If you have like a defensive Tera, and you can bluff a switch. So for those 2 reasons, it could use thick fat versus Chien-Pao and other Pokemon. And Ninetales Alola will be used, so it can help wall that. And what was I gonna say? Thick fat will probably be the better ability, unless you use Ayapapa Berry. And then yeah, walls Arcanine and fire type Pokemon too. Besides just Chi-Yu, there's other fire Pokemon out there. And let's look at another way to use Snorlax though. You could use like a choice band set. And use like Darkest Lariat, and doesn't it get self-destruct? Yeah, self-destruct. Or you could use, instead of one of these moves, you could use like high horsepower over Darkest Lariat. Actually, in this meta would probably be better. But in the past, you might have wanted Darkest Lariat for like Lunala or whatever. So this meta is just different. Dark's not nearly as good. Ground's better in general. So you would this would probably be the standard set if you're using choice band. If you're using leftovers or some item like that, like citrus or Ayapapa, then maybe something like this. I think Yawn would be pretty common with it. I don't see Belly Drum being that common with it. Now, some new people would use it, but I don't think it would be very consistent. I want to say there was people used to use Curse, but I'm trying to remember how they gain their HP back. I think maybe they didn't necessarily gain their HP back. They just either had leftovers to gain it back, or they just really reduced the damage with their allies, and this thing could sweep. Unless they use like Rest with it. Because I don't think it gets Slack off or anything. I don't remember that. Yeah, so that's probably mostly how to use it. I don't know if Heat Crash would be that useful. Probably not. but potentially maybe Amoonguss. I don't know. We'll see, but this is probably going to be the yawn set's probably going to be the most common. I just imagine people just wanting to yawn spam with it, and it would do pretty well with like double edge and whatnot too, and heavy slam, and it would have a decent amount of coverage. I think you could even use Ice Punch with it if you're afraid of Landorus. As far as the tier it's going to be in, I know it'd be good versus Fluttermane, great versus Fluttermane. You could even use Assault Vest with Snorlax, by the way. It wouldn't have Yawn, though. Iron Hands would be a big issue for it, and Landorus, and Amoonguss. And, oh, let's go over the Teras before I forget. It's weak to fighting. So, you probably want, like, I don't know, either something that resists fighting, like Poison or Fairy, like I said, for slacking, or you could use Tera Grass and Wall Spore with it and whatnot. But you would probably want something more to focus on fighting than Walling Spore. So maybe Poison. But as far as, well, maybe not Poison actually, because it's a physical Pokemon, and Landorus would not only intimidate it but super affect it. So maybe Fairy. I don't know. But the thing is I don't know if this would be a top tier Pokemon anymore, because I don't think last time Snorlax was allowed, I don't think there was Iron Hands wasn't around. And Urshifu, I'm trying to remember if it was even allowed when Landorus was allowed. I don't remember Urshifu like at all for some reason in VGC's history. Maybe it was allowed in 1 year, but I don't really remember it for some weird reason. So I don't know. Regardless, I don't think Snorlax is going to be top tier. It's probably going to be like A tier actually, and the best new Pokemon. Let me see. Out of all these ones, I don't think Ninetales would be. I don't think Mamoswine would be, because we have like Qian Pao and whatnot. Even though it has good offensive coverage. Melodic, not really, because it has to set up with Coil. I don't know. None of them really are that great. Wheezing Galar, if Misty Terrain is really useful, then Wheezing Galar would probably be the most common new Pokemon out there. And it can use like neutralizing gas instead. So yeah, Wheezing Galar might actually be the best Pokemon, or most used, I might say, because all the new Pokemon seem to suck, or like be like A tier at best. So just my opinion. We'll see if I'm wrong or not. I just don't think any of these, like even Chandler or Vikavolt, will be very good. Like people are hyping up Vikavolt when I know they're not going to even use it. Like nobody even uses Hard Trick Room, and even if they do, like Vikavolt's not like really good. It's not going to be like really good. It was already allowed before, and the main reason why it was good is because it caught people off guard, because they never prepared for it. And then all of a sudden people had Vikavolt, and it's like, what the heck? And they didn't have any resist berries to like bug and whatnot. And it was just good with like Earthquake Discharge strategies and stuff. So, I mean, it wasn't ever bad even after people knew about it. But like the main reason why I think it was good is because it caught people off guard at one regional. Like forgot his name. Missy No and other people used it. Mitchell, whatever his name is, used it, and it was pretty good. But yeah, I don't even think there's going to be one top tier Pokemon that's added, unless, like I said, Misty Terrain with Wheezing Galar is probably the only one that has a good chance. Snorlax probably barely won't be top tier. It's just too many good fighting Pokemon, and Spore. It can't really beat all that. So, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next video.